being a parent volunteer with a kind of a co-op preschool at the local park. And so that's a great way to get involved in serving and helping the community and helping your neighbors. And then I moved into youth soccer and swimming, very involved in those two organizations here in Irvine. And you'll find that probably as a player, you have parents who are involved in supporting you in your sporting. That's a great way to help the bind together the culture and the fabric of our city. Or whatever city you're living in. How many, raise your hand if you're in Irvine? You guys all living in Irvine? Who's living in Irvine? Yeah. Pretty good. A little chunk of you there. Okay, well, what I'm going to say, that was still going to apply to the community that you live in. If your family, if you and your family are involved in sporting activities, if you're involved in your church, if you're involved in civic organizations in your city, you are helping to build that city's fabric. So I encourage you to continue doing that. And if you say, well, gosh, I'm not so involved, or maybe you can up that, find out an organization or a cause that will really help get you and your community connected. I was also very active with our seniors center. Inviting them lunch to the seniors that come. They need this for social interaction, and they really love to have young people. So if you have an opportunity to go and get involved in any kind of senior citizen organization, like adopting a grandparent, maybe, letting them kind of mentor you. Sometimes as a teenager, you might look people, they're not going to want to be around me. They always tell me to get off their lawn. So why would they want me to hang out with them? So, but really, it's just like any segment of society. I knew some grouchy teenagers, and I knew some friendly teenagers. So we also know some kind of maybe a little bit grouchy, people that are a little bit older than us, but there's plenty that are just lovely. They would love to have you come, and they would love to talk with you and get to know you and understand what your life is like right now. And that helps keep them young and vibrant. Okay, they're going to enjoy that interaction. So maybe seek that out if that's something that's in your heart to do. I'm a graduate of Cal State Fullerton. Go Titans. Anybody headed to Cal State Fullerton, they think, maybe? Well, anyway, I was a graduate, so was my husband. I got my business degree from Fullerton. My husband got his engineering degree from Cal State Fullerton. And, I'm currently a small business owner. I'm an educator. I teach online classes. And that's something that kind of changed the paradigm of education. Delivery of education is the online presence. And so as you're getting older, you need to look for niches that are going to advance and take advantage of technology. Don't be afraid to challenge the paradigm that exists. Look around for opportunities to change the conversation. How can we do things better and different? How can you bring a new viewpoint? Okay, and don't let people discourage you because you're young. Sometimes, folks my age would kind of go, well, you're just the kids. Yeah, you might be the kids, but you're very close to being adults too. And so a lot is expected of you. And we should also, as adults, I always tell everyone, you need to respect and embrace the teenagers that are coming up. They have a lot to offer, and it's a whole new world for them. They know things that we never knew at their age. And so respect them and embrace them. Bring them into your team, bring them into your fold. Take advantage of the knowledge that they have that we never had at your age. Okay, so this is a positive thing that I think we need to really embrace the young, the youth, your generation, and ask you, what do you know that you can teach us, that we can help make a better community, a more vibrant business community, give you more opportunity. You can be part of that drive to create more economic opportunity simply because you have more skills many times than we have. I know my son, who's 27, he's a coder. He writes computer code for a living. And he knows far more than the people who are his bosses giving him his paycheck, simply because he grew up with that technology and started studying it at a young age and really just grabbed hold of it. So I encourage you to pursue those opportunities. And if you're having trouble going and getting hired by someone, start your own concern, start your own business, start your own consulting practice or something. So you can take those skills. Don't let any barriers hold you back. Keep pushing until you are able to fully recognize and use your skills and talents, okay? I'm also a active member of the Chamber of Commerce here. That's promoting business vitality. And one of the projects that I'm really interested in working on is the workforce development aspect of the Chamber. And workforce development is simply making sure that we're taking a survey of our employers, finding out what jobs they're having trouble filling, find out why they can't fill those jobs. Maybe it's because there is a skill that's lacking. What is that skill? And make sure that not only our K-2 through 12 institutions, but also our community colleges, universities, and for-profit colleges are offering those skills in their curriculum. so that when you graduate, you can actually get a job. You can actually work in the county. You can find something to do, or you have an opportunity to start a business in a niche that's thriving here in Orange County. And in Irvine, we're particularly focused on that. Now, anybody can join the Irvine Chamber. We have cities from all over Orange County that are part of the Irvine Chamber of Commerce because we offer these really great skills and we offer these great services to our businesses and to our workforce. As a member of the Exchange Club, what I'm working on is, from a private sector standpoint, is Exchange says, let's have businesses come together and exchange ideas on how we can make our community stronger and more vibrant. And the national goal is to eradicate child abuse. Well, we know that our state social workers and our state child welfare system is overworked, it's overburdened, and a lot of times the social workers are not paid highly. It's a very demanding and stressful job. They can't do everything and be everywhere. So it's great to be a partner in helping on a local level to relieve the stresses that sometimes families have and help them with parenting skills, help them get jobs, help them to identify if their child maybe has special needs and they didn't understand that their child had a special need. And how can they receive services to help their child and relieve the stresses and pressures of the family. So we try to bring together a lot of services for those families to make sure that the family stays healthy and together, and that we mitigate any kind of negative consequences of those stresses and pressures. Well, I believe that Irvine is a really great place to work, live, and play, and to start a business and to raise a family. I really loved living in Irvine all these years. My husband's actually been here since he was 10 years old. So before Irvine was even incorporated. And so it's real interesting. You can say, well, in my second floor bedroom, I saw I could see the train coming from miles down the track and going up towards Santa Ana. And I said, yes, and your future wife was waiting up there, because that's where I was born and raised. So he was living in a housing tract that was in the middle of a bean field. And so now it's very unusual when you drive through Irvine, you can't imagine having all of this land covered with bean fields and farmers working and John Deere's running, through the farm. But this is the type of community that Irvine was, very much a rural and farming community here, a very rich place. So many people come here to share their vibrant cultures and their values with us. And one of the things that I think it's important for us to acknowledge is that when we're embracing different cultures, it's not just about the entertainment. Because your families, how many emigrated to the United States, say in the last 10, 20 years? See, this is wonderful. Your family's coming. And what you brought with us is not just, you didn't come to entertain Americans. You didn't come here to dance for us and to cook for us and all these things. But what you came for is you came to bring your values, didn't you? You came because you felt like this was a place for opportunity. Your family saw a reason to pick up from whatever country you came from, take a risk, and move here. There was a positive reason for them to come here. And so in Irvine, it's more about what are the shared values that we have, not the external stuff like costumes and dancing and food, but it's what are your internal values that you bring, your ethics, your love of family. For many of you, your love of God. How do you worship? You bring those wonderful values to this community and you make us richer. And your family makes us more cohesive and stronger. And we have so many cultures. Those of you that are thinking of maybe attending here at UCI, okay, on this campus is the UN. They have it all here. Everyone's coming here. And so it's a great place to share those values and to build a community. Cultural appreciation, as I said, it should be recognized, beyond that many of the cultures that come, the folks that come here, they bring thousands of years of history, deep, rich cultural history to teach us. And for me as an American, one who is born here and lived here all my life, I find that a very rewarding and enriching interaction. I embrace it, and I love to learn and meet other people. Before I was, starting my, I would say my family life, my single life, I was involved in the travel business. And I traveled a lot, and I loved it. And I encourage you as a young person, before you are, you're raising a family and you have to stay more at home, travel as much as you can. The woman before was the lady, the alumnus, was telling you about going to summer camp. Those types of experiences are traveling out of the country to countries you've never visited before, or traveling more widely in the United States is a great teacher. Travel is a great teacher. You meet people from all different walks of life, you see how they live, you understand more how they're thinking and where they're coming from. You're exposed and your mind is open. And the more that your mind is open, you can consider more ideas before you reject them. Just consider them, take them in, roll them around in your head, see which ones match. And you say, well, gosh, I never thought of that before. I should think about that. I should consider that. Be open-minded. Take in new ideas. Be willing to let those new ideas come in. Not that you have to accept and embrace and put it onto yourself, but be willing to consider new ideas and new ways of thinking. I talk faster than I can turn pages. Well, my family has really been blessed and enriched by the years spent learning from many of our different neighbors, and for all of the life stories that they bring that are so different from our own. And really, I like to concentrate on the things that unify us. And for many, it's the importance of our faith communities, and we have so many here in Irvine and out throughout Orange County, a very diverse faith community. And it's nice because when we join any kind of a faith community, we're actually joining and unifying together with people who are like-minded. We can join together with them, and it can be a really uplifting experience, not only for us as an individual family, but as a community as a whole. And we can relate to each other and with the people that we share our deepest beliefs with. But we can also use that faith community to reach out to others within our cities. How can we serve them and help them? How can we bring meals to them? How can we offer shelter to them? How can we offer medical care to them? Okay, what are some things that we can do? Can we offer tutoring to them to help their children? What are things that we can do from our connection with our faith community? Those are all things that build our city. And in Irvine, these are the things I'm trying to help promote. Let's make sure that we don't ask, oh, it's that church and that mosque and this, temple. It's what do we have in common? Let's don't look at the things that separate us. Let's look at the things that we can agree on, that we can help our city move forward. How can we help our county move forward? Okay, let's don't ask religion and party. Let's ask, what do we have in common that we can work together? What are the building blocks? Let's look for the things that we can start to build a foundation on. Also, the importance of family. Family is a great unifier. Ask your mom or dad how many people they met because of you, because of your activities. They had to take you to, your tutoring center. They had to take you to sports. They had to take you to, maybe you have a foreign language school, Chinese school, Japanese school. You have a Korean cultural school, something that you do on the weekends or after your regular public school time. Your parents met a lot of people and made friends in the community because of their involvement in helping and taking you places. So having a family is a great way to get involved in the community and to grow your city and to unify our county. Your family is your first support system. They keep you safe, they care for you, they nurture your growth, they keep you safe, and they shower you with love. Okay? Your first teachers, they teach you about faith, about values, work ethic. They inspire you to aim high and to be successful. They offer you ongoing guidance and mentoring. And in my viewpoint, any city government should just help and support, provide a peaceful community in which your families can operate and do the things they do best. How can the city government make sure they support instead of get in the way of your family's good work with you and within the community? The importance of community involvement. We've already talked about that a lot, but it's from when you are interacting with your neighbors, you're learning from them, and they're learning from you, and you become, as the more you can appreciate people and really get to know them personally, the less likely you're going to be to fight with them. It's easy to kind of demonize or ostracize someone that you really don't know well. You just go, well, I look different than you, okay? But when you really get to know them, they become people. They really become people to you. It's like, oh, you're a real person. You have feelings and you have thoughts and beliefs. Gosh, what a concept. And then it's so much harder to demonize them. Then it's much easier to then you begin to embrace them. So I encourage you to put yourself in a situation where you are meeting people who are much different than you are, because this is going to break down a lot of the barriers of prejudice, of racism. When you start looking at a person's heart and soul rather than looking at their skin and hair. Okay, I just really encourage you to do that as you're going forward. And then, of course, the importance of our educational system. Okay, we know that education is important, but not, just for the sheer goal of imparting facts, but what to do with those facts, what to do with that knowledge that you're learning. How many of you have ever said, oh my word, why do I have to learn this? If you're not raising your hand, I don't think you're telling me the truth. I mean, every kid in my high school said that. It's okay. Every kid in my high school has said that. I said that. My kids all said that. I think we all run into that. Is why do I have to learn this? Well, we hope and we pray that our education and the information we're imparting to you from adult to student is information that you can use to make a valuable life, okay? So that you can have knowledge, so you can make decisions, okay? As a leader, you want more information, right? Because that more information you have means that you can make a better leadership decision. You don't want to be blindsided. If you're in charge of making a decision for a large group, you want to make sure you have a lot of facts before you decide, before you say things, before you make policies. Okay, as for me, a policy maker, whether it's as a commissioner, it's really important for me to understand all aspects of a city matter before I make a decision. And I can't tell you how many times I've actually decided to change my vote on a matter. I mean, before the vote, I didn't take a vote and go, oh gosh, I should have, that, although that can happen. But I would read my reports and come to an initial decision about how I might vote. And then I started making phone calls, and I would talk to different stakeholders, and I would go out to a project site, and I would talk to more people. And eventually, there have been times where I thought, wow, I'm totally not going to vote that way anymore. I'm going to change my vote, because the more information I got, the more it was revealed to me that my first impression was not accurate, that there was much more to be heard and to be known about a particular matter. So as you're going forward in leadership, make sure that you are listening with, to all sides of a matter, and that you're doing your research and digging in, okay? And particularly, read your documents, read paperwork and contracts and things that people send you, read policy papers, so you can understand the nitty-gritty of what is being proposed. How many are voting age? Do we have any voters in the room that are going to be voting in this election? Okay, great. You're going to see a lot of perhaps city initiatives, and you're also going to see state propositions. Propositions can be put on the ballot by the voters, by a referendum process, having a petition. They are the most confusing pieces of legislation, proposed legislation. It really takes a lot. You're going to have to dig into the nitty-gritty and read all of the proposition. And they're lengthy. I mean, lawyers write this stuff, right? They get paid. I think they get paid by the word, but word. And so you have to go through the legalese to really get down to the brass tacks of what's really in that law. Because the commercials give you the soundbite of what you're voting on, but when you get down 3 paragraphs, you have to read what's in the 3rd or 4th paragraph, because that may be something very onerous that takes away your liberty, that in the future will not be good for you, that will limit your choices as you go forward. And you want to make sure that you don't have, don't support politicians that try to trick you. They should not be trying to trick us. They should be straightforward and tell us what do they really want to do. Voting yes should not be no, and voting no should not be yes. It should be very straightforward. We should understand what we're voting on. And I respect young people, and I respect that you're here trying to learn. This is excellent. And this tells me that the people in this room are going to be the wonderful community leaders of the future. Just make sure that you're reading everything. Everything is kind of, it's kind of like a mini law school when you're going into politics, and even civic leadership or corporate leadership. Make sure that you are paying attention and really becoming educated. So we want to be educated because we want to have facts. We want to be able to have knowledge that is relevant, so that we can begin conversations with others and have an intellectual discussion. We don't have to agree with each other, but if we don't have true facts in front of us, then we're not going to be able to have an intellectual conversation or a debate or discussion with someone, even who holds a different viewpoint than we do. We have to agree. It's like you're entitled to your opinion, but you're not entitled to your own set of facts. That's kind of a little phrase that we say when we're debating and talking with people. We need to come to an agreement on what are the facts, and then we can start having a rational discussion about how to come to a conclusion. So this is another reason for education, is to make sure that we are all on the same page and that we have right information. And it does set us up for the future so that we can be those rational leaders, those good leaders that have a good head on our shoulders. So I really applaud your organization, Junior State of America, because you have that goal of contributing to that shared knowledge of the world around us and encouraging your peers to educate themselves and become involved. And at this time in your lives, you're looking forward to adulthood in the time when you'll be responsible and you will have, you'll be independent citizens apart from your parents. So choosing leaders and shaping policy and engaging in the workplace are all expectations that are coming up for you. Also, the schools are great because they bring us together. That's another community activity. We don't often think of going to school as a community building activity, but just think of all the clubs and organizations and fundraisers that you participate in that bring your community together around the goal of supporting education. Okay? So then I was asked to tell you a little bit about why I'm running. And that is because I really hope in Irvine to change the political conversation, to break through the partisan divide, and to reach individual voters with my message, a positive message, not elect me because I want the other guy, you know, is a bad person, the other lady is a bad person. But I would like, vote for me because you think I have a positive view for the future of Irvine. Here are the policies that I support. Here's what I'm committed to do if I'm elected. Here are the policies I hope to advance if you vote for me. Here are my values. If you agree with me, please support me. I think that it's very unhealthy that political dialogue, both local, state, and national, has just become this party versus that party, you know, this gang versus that gang, and you have to pick a gang, okay? Rather than the politicians coming to you and respecting you as an individual with needs and with desires and rights, and you know, just you having different individual tastes and opinions, and finding out what you want, what's best for you, what's best for your family, what's best for your business, what's best for your future, okay? Instead of based on just D-R-I, you know, L. How can we break through that? And I think it's very important for us to change that political conversation, especially at this very important time in our nation's history. We should honor and respect the community as individuals. We should trust our voters, and especially our youth, to make wise decisions based on your individual values. We need to have a vision for your needs. Okay, how can we best meet your needs going into the future? And a desire to see you be successful. How can we pave the way so that you have the ultimate chance for success? Many of your, you know, the adults around you, they've been successful. They have achieved some modicum of success. Well, how do we help you do that? Instead of just making sure that you can stay at home, okay? How can we help you be independent and fly, okay, and have your own life? Now, I know for my kids, I want them to fly. I want them to be independent, have their own house and their own things and pay their own bills. But I want them to come home for chicken dinner too. And so I'm sure your parents want that as well, but how can we help you be standing on your own as independent and dignified, you know, adults? And that would be a goal for me, is to make sure that the Irvine government provides as much as we can the stability and support. Okay. My parents taught me that if I saw something that needed to be done, I should go ahead and do it, not look to others to solve my problems. So that's a reason why I'm involved in leadership and why I'm running for office. And I think that's probably the same values that your parents taught you, and that's why you're involved in Junior State of America. They taught you to step forward and to take leadership position. They taught you to put yourself out there and to solve problems instead of looking to others to do it for you. So Irvine is growing and maturing and changing, and the same kind of little nostalgic feelings that your parents have for you. They look at you and they hug you maybe on your 16th, 17th, 18th birthday, and they, oh, you're growing so fast, you know, and they're nostalgic for the time that you were little, but they're still adjusting. They're adjusting to you getting more mature. They're adjusting to you getting older and taller and more independent. And here in Irvine, there's some discussion about the rate of growth. And I say if it's healthy and alive, it's going to grow. And we have members of our community who are very nostalgic for the old Irvine, the younger Irvine. But we have to adjust. We have to adjust to a growing and maturing city. Lots of people from around the world recognize that Irvine has so much to offer, and so they're flocking here. And so how many of you have taken economics yet in school? Have you taken any economics classes? So what is price a function of? I actually teach econ and government online. So what is price a function of? What drives the price? Supply and demand. So we have a lot of demand. We have a ton of demand. And of course, if we could make infinite supply, that would be great. But we don't have infinite land. We have scarcity, right? We have a limited amount of the commodity that most people want. We have a limited supply of housing. We have a limited supply of vacant land to put houses on or businesses. And so with all of the demand, yes, the prices are very strong. Strong pricing for housing here in Irvine, but also the blessing that we have on the flip side, the trade-off of that is we have a lot of opportunity. The state of California itself is really suffering under high unemployment rates. In many parts of our state, the unemployment rate runs 30–40% in certain communities. The youth unemployment rate statewide and nationwide is extremely high. But here in Irvine, we have a different paradigm. We have a lot of opportunity here. One of the great programs that we are offering is, as I mentioned earlier when I first started speaking, was our workforce development program to make sure that your education is going to prepare you well to take jobs in our community or to start a business, to give you those technical skills. Or if you are an adult already, if your parents are needing retraining or they're needing additional skills so that they can continue on their career path, they can come here to UCI. UCI has a fabulous array of certification programs for adult job retraining and also to give you certain targeted skills. So I just encourage you to look around at all of your options, kind of look ahead, see if you can do some job shadowing. We're also working on that here at the chamber. And if I'm blessed enough to be elected to council, that's something I'll really make sure that the city fully supports is our workforce development programs, making sure that there is a lot of opportunity for you in the future. So with that, I will just tell you that I'm just really honored to be here. Really, it's nice to look out over the crowd and see such, kids with such great promise, young people with a great future ahead of you all. And I'm looking forward to how our whole community, not just Irvine, but cities all around Orange County are going to develop under your leadership. And I think it's very important for you to continue to participate in organizations like Junior State of America and find even more ways that you can contribute to the growth of Orange County. Healthy growth, right? Because you guys need places to live, you need places to work, you need places to open businesses and opportunities. And so I hope that you'll look to leaders like me that embrace the younger generation and that we want to support and help you and make sure that you have a strong and vibrant future, just as we have had in Orange County as young people coming up from teenage years and working our way up, to having our part of the American dream. Now we want to make sure that we have that eye open for you also to enjoy that same prosperity. So thank you so much for having me here today.
Did anybody have any questions for Mrs. Schott? We have time for 2 questions before lunch. So,
Say your name and school before you talk. Hi, I'm Adam Jacobs. I'm at TBT High School in Irvine. My question is about the grade park, which I think is really fun to go to, but there are 2 things. It's hard to get into the grade park to park. And then 2, it's really like a lot of people don't know about it or like acknowledge its existence kind of thing. It's kind of like out there. So like, do you think more marketing or like easier access? Like, you kind of have to go under 4 freeways to get in. You can change the entrance. How can we get more people to the grade park?
The grade park is a great conversation to have, and so I want to start. We've had a history documented in our newspapers, And so the exciting news as far as the Great Park is concerned is that it's finally, after 12 years, this coming Tuesday, the runways, they're going to start breaking up the runways to actually develop the park. And so we're excited that after many, many years, the voters voted to have a great park rather than an airport. We're actually going to start work on the great park. And so to answer your question about access, yes, there's a huge plan. The master plan for the great park calls for redoing the entrance on Vehicle as well as Marine Way. So over $15 million worth of road rework and access and signage and everything. So all of that is going to be done. Now, right now, because there is that, we're kind of in that transition of new leadership for the Great Park and really getting the runways broken up and really start planning according to the new development plans, the schematics that are there. We haven't done a lot of marketing because there's really nothing to market yet. There's the balloon, there's not a lot of infrastructure, and that's been one of the big challenges and complaints is all the money was spent, but we don't have the infrastructure that we had hoped for. So now that is going to start, and they're going to start building that and putting that in, and then we will actually have something to market and say, hey, y'all come and enjoy the great park, okay? Because we are going to actually have a great park now. So yeah, thank you for that question, and you're absolutely right. Plans are in place, and we will get that going.
We have time for one more question. Does anybody else have a question? No one? Okay. Could we just get a big round of applause? Sorry, we have a few announcements. So, please sit down. So, on behalf of the Junior State of America, we would like to present Mrs. Schott with a JSA mug for taking time out of her day to celebrate. So, it's now lunchtime, and the closest restaurants are at the University Town Center. And so we have two fundraisers, one at Chipotle and one at Yogurtland, and they will be donating 50% Chipotle and 20% Yogurtland. So please bring your agendas, because it has the flyers in the back, so please bring your agendas. And if you need extra ones, find Oscar.
Here, I just got a 35.
Okay. So, in and out, I'm gonna do it.
I know.
See here?
120 is late, 119. Three or more.
Yeah, go in groups, guys.
And no one, and then we're taking room when you get back, so if you try to like head on out,
See you there. You guys go to Chipotle? I really want, yeah, if you want some.
Oh shit.